Okay, so I'm just going to videotape this. This is just a little kind of exchange with Stanley and I, who I met a little over a week ago, that came to me to help with PTSD, with a very traumatic thing that occurred to him. So here's Stanley, and I'm just going to ask him a few questions to, so we can get on camera what occurred. So Stanley, so when I met you a little over a week ago, you had a traumatic memory from being in the Dominican Republic.
Right.
Right. So I guess what I'll ask you to do is, so that we can see that it's really made a difference, is ask you what was it that happened in the Dominican Republic, and before I get into that, before, when you would talk about this, what would happen when you would talk about what you're about to talk about?
I'd break down.
Right. Okay.
All the time.
Okay. So now, just briefly, what was it that occurred that would make you break down?
Home invaders invaded the house on the second floor. I was sleeping in one bed on the second floor. Raphael was sleeping in one bed. I heard him fighting. I got up. I put on the light, and there were guys in the room.
Yeah.
And I started to fight with one of the guys.
Yeah.
And then one guy pulled a gun.
Yeah.
And then he shot me in my stomach and in my intestines.
Yeah.
And I fell to the floor.
Yeah.
And Raphael said, "Remain on the floor. Don't move." He went out to continue to fight, but the same guy who had the gun also killed him with that same gun.
Yeah.
And he killed him with a bullet right through the heart.
Yeah. And you witnessed this.
And I witnessed
You were
this.
a few feet away.
I was a few feet away.
Yeah.
And it's an experience that is difficult to forget, but I've been meeting Brian several times, and he has made me feel a little bit better about myself.
Yeah. So right now, normally when you would talk about that memory, what would normally happen?
I would break down and cry.
Yeah.
Now I could sit in front of this camera, and I'm not crying.
Yeah. Good. So, and what's the difference now? Is it because the memory is calmer?
I would say the memory is calmer. And I don't remember it that often as I did before.
So in other words, you're saying you don't obsess on it all the time.
Yes, before I had an obsession thinking about it.
Right. And so when I had met you a week and a half ago, we did the one session, and just after that one session, and you'd had this problem since October.
Yes, October
right?
the 1st. It's
in October the 1st. And just after the one session, the obsessive thoughts and the trauma just got neutralized. Is that accurate?
I would say that they're neutralized, just like they're neutralized right now.
Yeah. After the one session.
Yeah, yes.
So it was a 1 hour session that we did.
Right.
Right. And if you recall correctly, when I went to test it, it was maybe half an hour into the session that I was already asking you to talk about it, and you were already saying, yeah, it doesn't really seem to bother me.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
So the reality is that maybe half an hour after I met you, it was already not bothering you much.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So great. So here we are, and I'm so glad that it's helped you and bring you more peace of mind.
It has.
Yeah, and help you feel help you get your life in motion again. That's great.
Okay.
So thank you, Stanley, for sharing that, and that's it. We'll wrap this up.
Okay.